Welcome to Vintage Burn. This is Kev.
Marco.
And Dougie Fake News LeBlanc.
And tonight we are doing the Opinionated Pit segment, our metal talk show, and we are going to be covering 1981 rock and metal albums. I think we're all pretty excited about this. And to be honest with you guys, I really enjoyed today just working and listening through a bunch of those records. I really like that we do this. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, man. Just trying to think of different ways and innovative ways to talk about things. And granted, people have done top tens many a times. Like, lists are nothing new. But yeah, man, instead of just talk about news and what we're listening to, it opens up a good discussion. So I really like doing it. And plus, like you said, like even the last couple of days, I've been listening to nothing but 1981. Nothing but 1981. Just because that third one I couldn't cement. So here's the format: is we each pick three, and we already picked what our top dog album. We decided on it. We actually agreed upon it for the year. So we did 1980, and I just want to say I'm not drunk this time. I listened back to that 1980 episode, man, and it was so long since us three were together in the same room. It was a while, until last time, right? Like a long time.
Since like October, because we did the Halloween one in person. We did Ernest Get Stupid and Wolf Cop.
Yeah, that's still a pretty long time. So I think I was excited. I drank too much, and by the end of doing the second podcast, I was talking over everybody, cracking the microphone. I wasn't too happy with my performance. So I promise I'll do better this time.
Wait, Doug, did you say that was the last time we were together?
I believe so, right?
All three. Yeah,
no,
all three of us. Yeah,
No, we forgot what the weekend. Dude, like last month we were together.
Well, no, that was the same night as Demon Night. We did Demon Night in 1980, is what Mark was talking about.
Oh, just the metal, like when we did like an actual a year of albums.
Yes, because we did Demon Night, and then we decided to do the metal one after. And like Marco said, we hadn't seen each other in a while. We all been, having beers, and then it got sloppy.
I was gonna say, it's like, holy shit, guys! I'm like, I just saw you guys like last month. Remember, Penticus was supposed to have his pre-baby party or whatever, and we ended up podcasting instead.
Yeah, his last hurrah.
Yeah, but before that, it's been a long time, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Crazy. So the beers were flowing. So anyway, yeah, I think I formatted it, but yeah, we each pick three. I'll kick it off just because I'm ready to go. So number 10, I had a hard time deciding what I wanted. First, it was Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. Then I listened to it, and I'm like, no. Has like 4 or 5 really good songs, but the rest are total shit. What it is I think like my buddy had a best of album from them in the 90s, and it had like the best songs from it. So I thought it was a better album than it actually was, and yeah, it was bad. Then I was going to go with Van Halen, Fair Warning, which is one of my favorite albums from the thing, but I wanted to stick to metal personally. So I'm going with Saxon, Denim and Leather. Now Saxon, me and Doug have talked about this, is a band that, some reason passed me by. I didn't really listen to them too much. But over the last few days, it's the album that caught my ear the most, and now I kind of understand why they're held in such high esteem. And I love the album. I listened to it 3 times. Princess of the Night. Which ones are the ones I like? Then the band played on. Denim and Leather is a classic sing-along song. Fire in the Sky. Anyway, that's my pick. Anybody have any thoughts on it?
No. Well, yes, actually, I should say. You're right. They're one of those bands live. I don't know if I've seen them other than who'd they open for?
Judas Priest.
It was Judas Priest. Okay, so
yeah.
So, and I remember what was the one you wanted? There was like one song from them you wanted to catch. It was like Free Will Burning?
Yeah, or Wheels of Steel, I believe.
Oh, Wheels of Steel. Okay. But yeah, they're one of those bands that have gotten a good reputation all these years, and then live they were good, and I'm kind of curious, and that's why, like you were saying, I'm glad we're doing this, because there's actually albums that I thought I liked that I hadn't listened to in a long time that I actually don't like, and vice versa. Ones that I'm like, oh, wow, I should finally get around to this, and so...
Yeah, that was Motley Crue for me. I thought that album was fire from start to finish, and it's not. Like I said, 4 or 5 good songs, the rest are trash. You know, so it made me open my eyes a little bit more too.
Garbage.
And now I'm listening to nothing but the Plasmatics the last 2 hours because Doug sent it to me, and they have an 81 release too. God damn it.
Yeah, they're good too. Them and Girl School, they're both good female fronted. All right, so I had a little bit of a Marco incident. I originally was going to choose Raven, Wipeout, just because it has Lamps to Slaughter, which creators covered and did a killer cover of. And I listened to the whole album, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I don't like this. And I thought it was like, oh, maybe it's just I went from listening to thrash or death to this. I'm just like, no, I listened to it like a few different times in different scenarios. But so I ended up going with Judas Priest Point of Entry, which not their strongest album, like metal wise. I would say it's very radio friendly. Heading out to the highway, but then again, it has Desert Plains, which might be my favorite Judas Priest song, other than something off Painkiller. But I mean, you got Solar Angels. I forget what else like I said, it's not really completely memorable, which, after 7 studio albums in 1981, that's kind of impressive by itself.
Yeah, that's kind of like their second era, though. That's like when they became a little more radio friendly, maybe a little inspired by the new wave of British heavy metal, like 4 or 5 minute songs, and started with British Steel, Point of Entry, Defenders of the Faith. Unfortunately, Point of Entry to me is the weakest out of between Sad Wings and Defenders. I think it's the weakest album they did.
Yeah,
in that era.
I agree.
But Desert Plains, you're right, fucking killer song, and I know Kevin loves that song too. I'm not sure Kevin has something to say about this album.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is it's one of their weakest albums. It just doesn't slam like a lot of their other records. And I think this was just a more mainstream album, definitely more on the rock side. But I mean, Desert Plains alone is just a killer tune.
Yeah, I could put that on repeat just over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? Just that's the song I cannot get sick of. And there's very few songs on earth that are like that.
Yeah, it goes back to even in the Priest catalog, that's the album I actually avoided. I don't even know if I have that one on vinyl. I think, all of their first ones at least, I think up until Ram It Down, except I don't have Turbo either because I don't like that album. But what do you call it? But then, I never knew about Desert Plains until Doug grew a boner for it. And that was it. And I was like, he's like, dude, listen to this song. And that was the same thing. I had listened to it maybe 3 times in a row, and I fucking love that song. But again, I put the album on, and yeah, it doesn't stack up. But you know what? I think it's good enough to be on a top 10 list for 81 because Priest is that good. Now we're just stacking it up against the rest of Priest catalog. You know what I mean? So it's a tough sell as far as that goes. But if you're talking about just overall albums, I think it belongs in the top 10 anyway.
Yeah,
man. It's got some great tracks. Like I'm not a fan of the words "hot rockin'," but I definitely appreciate the song itself. On the Run is really good. Heading Out to the Highway, I don't have to say anything. Everybody knows that tune. So
that's a good song though. I do.
It is. Oh, definitely, it is. The thing I love about it is I love the album cover, the original album cover which is. I think it's supposed to be a jet or a jet wing or something like that. It's hard to tell. I think that's what I like about it. It's kind of abstract because it's like up close of some type of machinery. And I just love the name Point of Entry. I think it's sick. It's kind of, I love how they used to do that with the sexual play on some of the titles.
Oh yeah, and once you find out, that Rob Halford's gay, all the hot rock in, Point of Entry, Ram It Down, everything starts to make it so.
Grinder, lover, man, looking for meat. I know it's not on that album, but
go
ahead, Kevin.
The updated cover sucks. It's just a road. It's an open road. I get it. I totally get it because this is if you think about it, this is the album that you'll hear somebody riding their motorcycle to in the open air. It makes sense. It's a really good joyride album.
Mm-hmm.
So not the strongest, but good joyride album. If it's on, you're gonna sing along. You're gonna listen to it. All right, for my pick here, I changed my mind. So I was going to add for one of my top three. I was going to do Journey, but I feel like if I did that, that's an obvious record of the time, and I just feel like that would be. I mean, not on our list, but I just feel overall in general in 1981 that it's just like one of the best records. We always hear songs, and I feel like I was saying to you guys when I was texting, it Don't Stop Believing, regardless if you're sick of hearing it, everybody will sing that fucking song if it comes on. If you're somewhere drinking, having a good time with people, you will. Even if you hate it, you're gonna sing the song. So it's kind of a given. In the record overall, it's got some really good tracks on it and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick something else and not do that album and talk about it for a while. I'm going with Breaking the Chain.
Breaking the Chain, Dawkins.
Yeah. But I
was just going to say one thing about about Journey is there's like a few songs. If you're in a room full of women and you want to get them going, you put on that song, or you put on Respect by Aretha Franklin, and the chicks go crazy. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of chicks going crazy, who doesn't love some Don Dokken? But yeah, the band Dokken, Breaking the Chains. So the album was originally actually released under his name of Don Dokken. He was already popular in Europe. So I can't remember where he's from. I can probably just look it up. I think he's from Denmark or something like that. He was already popular, and so he started as Don Dokken and then decided to bring his music worldwide. And the band Dokken was formed in the U.S. They were formed in the U.S. By a record label, probably Elektra Records, and it was re-released in 1983. So there's a lot of controversy there because it technically came out in 81 and then was changed, given a new album cover, and released under the moniker of only Dokken. Really, really great record in my opinion. It's just underrated. These guys always get slapped with the label of hair metal band, and they're not. They're not a fucking hair metal band at all. They're just a straight up rock metal band. They got a lot of great tracks, like Breaking the Chain obviously is a strong tune, and then Night Rider's awesome. Night Rider's a metal tune. It's like a Judas Priest song. Really, really strong. Paris is awesome. Stick to Your Guns, Seven Thunders, another track that I really like. So I don't think it has any filler. Does it have a couple slow songs on it? Yeah. Again, more mainstream rock. But Don Dokken's like really good at mixing pop and rock into metal, and that's why I feel like this was a good strong entry for the band, because it's better than a lot of stuff that's out there for that year. Just solid musicianship all around.
Yeah, right. Man. I'm gonna say out of the Dokken I've heard, you guys are a lot more experienced with Dokken than I am, but it's probably my least favorite out of like their next four. And he's from LA, by the way. He's from LA.
Oh, is he?
He's not from. Yeah. But you know what? I was watching an interview with Mickey D of formerly a King Diamond and the Motorhead and all that, the drummer, and he actually was in a band with Dokken. So maybe that's where the confusion led, because I think he spent a lot of time in Europe. Because
maybe that's what it was.
Record deals and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but, maybe he was just busy there. Yeah.
Yeah, my personal favorite, actually, lately, I've been jamming it. Even I think I mentioned this to Doug, is Back for the Attack. It doesn't necessarily have like their most standout tracks, but the consistency on that record's awesome. But we're not talking about that record. This record I'm not too experienced with, so I don't have much to say, even though I'm talking a lot. But go ahead, Doug.
I do like it, but out of the Dokken catalog, maybe it's a go back and give it another listen. I think as we change as people, as we mature, kind of our tastes change with us. So something I might have disliked 5 years ago, I might love now. That happens all the time.
Oh, if you talked to me when I was 14, even 10, 12, whatever, and you were like, handed me a Dokken record, I'd probably just throw it right back at you. You know what I mean? But now as I get older, I'm opening myself up to a lot of this stuff, mainly because of you guys always talk about Dokken. So it's on you, and I have listened to them a little more over the past couple of years because of it. But Back for the Attack, like I said, loving that record. Love it.
Good. Well, I'm glad we're able to show you something like you showed us a ton of shit, so kind of.
Yeah. We're all there for each other.
Yeah. It's like a big old circle. All right, Marco.
All right. That moves on. I'm not even numbering them. I'm just going with my next one. It's 10 in total, but this is going to be my next one is Venom, Welcome to Hell. Not my favorite Venom record as well. Black Metal and At War with Satan are my two favorites by them. But this is a great opening to them. You know, the song Sons of Satan open, it's just sick. Welcome to Hell, the song, it's a classic. You know, you got, Witching Hour, 1,000 Days of Sodom. They influenced so many fucking people. You know, like Mayhem with Mercy. Mayhem named themselves after that song, the band. And 1,000 Days in Sodom named themselves after that song. So, and plus they, basically inspired, or really were the biggest part in inspiring what Doug got me into a little bit is like the black metal from Norway, like the late 80s, early 90s stuff, you know, the church burning stuff that we've talked about in the past. And I just think it's a really good album. Not my favorite by them again, but it's just got some rippers on it. And I really enjoy listening to it. And I do own it on vinyl, too.
Ooh. I think I used to have it on picture disc. I don't know what the hell happened to it. All right, who's vibrating?
Yeah, it's my phone. I can't figure it out. Hold on. Go ahead.
So, it's funny. I liked this album a lot as a kid, and then I kind of moved on to other stuff. And then listening to it the other day for the first time in probably 10 years, this is a banger. Dude, like Witching Hour alone, like you said, Live Like an Angel. It's just, at this time, I would say this is a landmark album as far as just nothing was like this before, you know, like the vocals, like the deeper vocals, some of just the riffs, some of the drumming. I don't know, man. I think this might be the
Sorry. I thought I shut it off, damn it. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I would say I know we have our number one. What the fuck is going on over there?
Trying to figure out how to shut off my notifications. But go ahead.
Are you that popular? I get like one text a day, and it's usually like our group thread.
You don't know how to silence?
You
should be in silence. Often.
No, it's just... Yeah, I don't have it right here. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I think Welcome to Hell was the catalyst for so many albums, especially for 81 being so early. Like going through like the whole list of like metal albums that came out in 81, a lot of them are very, I don't say poppy, but still very like clean vocals, kind of like when men almost trying to sound like ladies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just a lot of like feminine type vocals coming like from the men. But fucking Kronos just comes out and, you know, this raspy ass voice, and I think he opened a door.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, real quick on this, Venom, you look back on them, they are extremely cheesy. Extremely. Probably one of the cheesiest bands at all time in metal, but they changed the game. They were that band that really like influenced Slayer, and Slayer influenced so many others. They influenced black metal. They were just there, and they did so much for metal and moving it forward into the more extreme genres that you can't take nothing away from them, no matter how cheesy and how like hokey it was. Because you look back, they were scary back then, but you look at it with like, what do they say, fresh eyes or whatever? Or, yeah, man, cheese as fuck.
I mean, the album cover alone, it's got like the pentagram and the goat head. I mean, for 1981, Welcome to Hell, like that was... You know, you look at a lot of the other album covers, and they're just these dudes dressed up in hockey pads and, you know, or this super, like, fantasy kind of shit, kind of on the ass end of the 70s, you know, like, I saw the Praying Mantis one, which actually is a pretty cool cover, but they're another one that kind of had that vocals that I just couldn't get into, you know?
Oh, I listened to them. I by song 2, that was off the, that was on to the next one.
Yeah, a lot of those albums just kind of didn't make the cut. And that's why, like, hearing this after hearing 4 other albums or so, I'm like, fuck, I forgot how good this album, how much it slaps. Like, just, for 1981, Welcome to Hell fucks. Pardon my French.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot cheesier out there than Venom. I mean, Raven's appearance alone was cheesy. Their album covers were fucking ridiculous looking.
And then you got Manowar.
I agree.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, Manowar was ridiculous. But Venom was really like one of the first metal bands. I know like Coven and stuff, 70s stuff used like think they used some satanic imagery, but I think Venom really made it like the go-to for a long time for satanic imagery too.
Yeah, I think they stepped it up a notch. They just had the right time, right kind of attitude, right kind of imagery, a new sound and a more aggressive sound, and fuck. Yeah, I think that's a great album. All right, so my next one, this was kind of a fun one. Hailing from Toronto, Canada, Anvil's debut album, Hard and Heavy. Which I didn't realize they did a cover of Painted Black by the Rolling Stones, which actually isn't terrible. I actually enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. Then you got like School Love, which Kevin, are you familiar with this album, Kev?
No, I haven't looked too much into it.
At some point, check out School Love on Hard and Heavy, dude. I think you'll really like the drumming. Rob Reiner, he does this like offbeat shit that kind of, I don't want to say it was unheard of at the time, but you had bands like Kansas and shit doing stuff like that. But like with Lips riffs and his offbeat drumming, I think you'd actually like it.
Just Kevin, really look for a remastered version though. The album doesn't have the best sound, and I know you're like an audiophile and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I would put that on your playlist at some point just to check out. It's a fun one. And then, dude, all right, so out of all the albums I listened to, I think at least half of them had some type of weird, creepy, like they have a song called Hot Child on this album. And then there was like sexy women. Like there was some variation of like women and like some adjective describing them. Like on like 5 or 6 of these albums, I'm like, what was going on in 1981? Everyone's just all fucking horned up, like. But yeah, so that'd be my next choice. I mean,
it's a pretty good record. I listened to it today, as a matter of fact. And yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Again, I talked about it in the past. Anvil's not my favorite band. I respect them though. Great live act. I like Metal on Metal a lot better. It's just so much heavier. It has more of a metal tone. This has more of a rock tone, which is fine. It's a metal record with a rock tone, but hey, it's a cool record. That's all.
Yeah. Anvil, the documentary. Watch the band whine about never making it big.
Well, simultaneously making it big and then still not making it big.
Again, and going back to influence, it's another band. I mean, they helped influence Metallica and Megadeth and all. Like those early thrash bands were very influenced by Anvil. They just unfortunately didn't get their due. But bands liked them. But they didn't have fans. They were, what is it, band's band or whatever they say,
Yeah, well, I think you said before last time we talked about Anvil that they basically inspired the bands that kind of took it and ran and kind of left them in the shadows, which sucks for them. But, dude, I mean,
I just think the overall skill of Anvil didn't match up either. I just think except for Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner's amazing, and not Meathead Rob Reiner from All in the Family. Rob Reiner, the drummer.
Distinction noted.
But he's amazing. Yeah, he's a great drummer.
Yeah, he is a great drummer. I mean, they got like 18 fucking studio albums like over the past, since 1981. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when did that documentary come out? They were making the album We Are 13, which was their 13th record on that.
Yep, that was maybe 08 or 09.
Yeah, so that's crazy, and they've been pumping them out. They work, though. I'll give them that. They'll play for 4 people if you watch the documentary. And they'll play their fucking asses off like there's a million people there. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I think they're used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I saw him at Ralph's once, and there was maybe 15 people there. And then I seen him at the Middle East, and there was maybe 25 people, But same thing. They just played their hearts out.
I thought the Ralph show there was more, man. I mean, it wasn't sold out, but it seemed like there was like 100 people there.
Oh, really? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I remember because I was at that show, and I wanted to watch the vibrator solo was the main reason I
went. You brought your own vibrator to throw on the stage. Use mine.
That's what I did. It was my hot pink one. Oh, I'm sorry, my salmon one.
Yes, hot salmon.
Kevin, what's your next?
Next pick, definitely going a little more mainstream, Moving Pictures by Rush. And, I mean, it's a great record. Vital Signs is killer. YYZ, Red Bruschetta, just awesome standout tracks aside from the 2 that everybody seems to know, obviously. So you got Tom Sawyer and Limelight, but I mean, there's so many other killer tracks that I feel like always get overlooked when people talk about this record. Technical, progressive, hard rock, man. Cool ass album cover. I really enjoy this one.
Yeah, I agree, man. I was listening to, I mean, I've heard it so many times I didn't even have to listen to the record. But I was listening to Rush other songs like Natural Science, which is my favorite song off of Permanent Waves, yesterday. So Rush always is around, man. I love that record. But I know it again, like the back of my hand. And yeah, there's not much to say about it. I mean, it's a fucking classic. Everybody knows it's a classic. I mean, damn, man. And they're amazing. And what's amazing about them, it's 3 fucking dudes, dude. And it sounds like there's like 18 people in the band.
Agreed.
And they pull it off live, which is amazing, you know? And what was the other thing I was going to say? And this is the first band that made our 80 and 81 list.
Oh.
There's 3 of them. But this is the first.
That's awesome. And you know what?
Doug, anything? Yeah.
They're a band, man, that anybody could listen to. I think that's why they're so great. You know, everybody appreciates their technical ability.
Yeah. I appreciate it. And they definitely influenced a lot of that prog metal that really Kevin gets down with. You know, like Opeth and whatever else. You know, they're big influences on those bands as well. I mean, and I don't know if Rush is necessarily a metal band. They do have some heavy tracks though, so I think they definitely border it.
Yeah, they kind of teeter, between, especially when it's like so technical too to boot.
Yeah, especially the early stuff. Some of the late 80s stuff I don't like too much, like Roll the Bones and stuff like that. But this is like probably my I think this ends their like extremely good era. And then they go, don't get me wrong, if you're in the 80s later Rush too, I mean, I understand why people like it. It's just really not my thing. But this ends Rush for me. Is Moving Pictures.
I'm trying to move beyond this one and actually give some of that other stuff a shot from like the late 80s and early 90s. And I will when it comes up, but I've added it to my library and I'm just kind of waiting for a track to come on. I want it to be spontaneous so that I really enjoy it. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Or you really dislike it. One or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it my turn again? It is my turn again, huh? Wow, that went quick. All right, next album, classic. I think it's my favorite Dio era Black Sabbath album. I think. I have a hard time because Heaven and Hell rules too, but it definitely has my favorite song. It's Black Sabbath's The Mob Rules.
Nice.
Which my favorite song, by the way, is Sign of the Southern Cross. And I'm going to say something very controversial here. I think it's the best Black Sabbath song ever written. Ever.
Whoa.
That's heavy.
It's heavy, but it is. It's my favorite. It's got like the best prodding riff and just the way Dio sings on it. And I've also said controversial things like I think Dio's a way better singer than Ozzy, but they have different ranges. I get it. We've talked about it before. We don't have to get all that crazy. But like Voodoo, Turn Up the Night, even Country Girl, Falling Off the Edge of the World. This album's freaking from front to back is unbelievable. I listened to it, like, again, probably a little bit more than I listened to Heaven and Hell as far as the Dio era stuff. Definitely more than Dehumanizer, even though I like that album too. But yeah, that's my final solo pick. Is that
you didn't pick a song on there to talk about, which I'm happy to fill in here, is Slipping Away, which is such a killer Led Zeppelin-based drum song. And after listening to an interview recently with Vinny Appice, he talked about how his favorite drummer's John Bonham. And man, this is so reminiscent of that. And I'm wondering if he took lead on it, because you close your eyes. I mean, it's like this could totally be a Led Zepp song.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Yeah. It definitely has that feel to it. I do agree with you on that. But
I would have picked this as one
another
of my top albums. Honestly, if you bastard, you picked it to talk about, because that would have been my number one.
Oh, like you're number one of 1981 or number one of your picks?
Probably number one of both.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right there for me, man. I agree. It's definitely, we're getting into that top 5 country or whatever, and yeah, the top ones are all magical. But you did pick another one, right? Because we did text, and you said you'd pick something else, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
All right.
You got anything to say?
No. Love the album. I'll have to was it Slipping Away, Kev? You said.
Yes.
All right. I'll have to give it another listen with Zeppelin ears on, and maybe hear something that I've never heard before. So. Yeah. No, I think it's a solid album. Fucking Sign of the Southern Cross, like I said, alone is fucking. That could have been just one song in the album, and it would have made the best album in 1981, or close to it.
Yeah, man. It to me again, just I think it's one of the greatest songs ever. Like, to me, just the way Dio sings, man, it's just unreal. But Doug, you can move it into your next one if you'd like.
All right, so I did another fun one, which this is a band that has influenced many bands that I don't know, for whatever reason I kind of passed by the early stuff, maybe because of the weird ass album covers, but so this one's gonna be Riot's Fire Down Under. It's their third studio album and their last with the original vocalist guy Speranza. Sound right? Speranza. Let's go with that.
Tequila and swords! Tequila!
Yeah, dude. Swords and Tequila, Fire Down Under, Outlaw, Alter the King, Run for Your Life, dude. All great tunes. And this actually hit number 49 on the 1981 Billboard, which is pretty cool. The fucking album covers, though, I still don't know what they were going for. Like this one here, I think it's, what's it, like is it like a pigeon or like a sea lion? A sea lion with like fire around him? I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's very easy, Doug. It's Speranza.
Speranza.
Guy Speranza.
Guy Speranza.
Yeah, that was
I can't read my own writing. I can't read my own writing, all right?
Kevin, you were saying?
I was gonna say, speaking of cheese, I can never figure out how their terrible album covers.
Yeah, I don't know where those came from or what theme they were going for, or if it's just a really fucked up inside joke that went on for like 4 or 5 album covers.
Do you think they looked at like the Budgie records with like the bird heads or whatever on them, and they were like, "Let's do this, but with seals."
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, just maybe. It was maybe they're just all high as fuck, thinking it was the greatest idea ever, and it's just fucking come out, 30 years later, whatever, almost 40 years later, fucking, just like, what were we thinking?
Yeah, somebody should have stopped them at the record label. Somebody should have said, "This is a really, really bad PR move if you guys want to be taken seriously."
Dude, and they were on Elektra and Victor for a hot minute too. I think this one was put out on Elektra. So that's not like some indie label. Elektra in the 80s was still pretty big,
Yeah, and Riot, again, it's one of those bands that I never really listened to. It probably because of the album covers. But I knew they were like pretty, Jesus Christ, I can't think of the word. God damn it. But they inspired people, like, and I know they were one of those bands that a lot of people look up to, and, but it always held me back. But when Doug added this to the list yesterday, he texted and said, "I'm going to put this one on." I fucking listened to it, and damn, what a good record.
Right?
I loved it. The Speranza could sing his ass off, and I guess I've been watching this metal, like a vinyl channel. It's like a hardcore punk metal vinyl channel, and I wish I could think of the name of it. I would shout him out. But anyway, it's a good channel, and Riot actually comes up a lot. He's an older gentleman. He's probably about 50-something years old, but Riot's one of his bands he constantly talks about, and he says Fire Down Below might be his favorite record. And so now I think another one, I think Saxon and Riot are going to be added to many playlists from here on out for the next few months because of this. And thank you, Doug, for opening me up to it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm the same. I wasn't too familiar before I started listening to it. I'm like, fuck, I think Marco would like this, and now we have new shit to listen to. 40 years later, A little late, but better late than never.
But again, going back to what I said earlier, this is another album. If you gave it to me when I was 14 years old and I put it on, it wouldn't make it 5 minutes. I'd be like, let's just listen to Slayer.
I think that's my problem with a lot of these bands. Same fucking thing.
Yeah. Shit was just so heavy growing up, We grew up in like the death metal, thrash metal age, and it was so extreme. Like we've talked about before, even Black Sabbath, it took me till I got a little older to really get into them because I thought they were too light. Same thing with their older Judas Priest. Painkiller was it for me. But now, Painkiller's not even my favorite record anymore. It's crazy how things have changed for me as far as like Priest goes. It's amazing how different you are as an adult. It's funny, I get more extreme, but I also get softer at the same time. Figure that one out.
Yeah, it's like, you're balancing out,
Mm-hmm. Kevin?
Yeah, so I assume for the 3 picks that I had to pick, I was gonna do Ozzy, but I assume that is that gonna be in our top?
Well, yeah, if you want to add another one in, who gives a fuck? We're not talking about anything else. It was planned to be yours, but if you got another one, we could do 11. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, did anybody end up taking Samson?
No, but I love that album. I listened to it today.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree. Yeah, I mean, Ozzy's record, still one of the best albums of 1981. So we can just talk about that overall. But I think a good shout out and underdog is Samson, especially since I am more of a Di'Anno fan than a Brucey fan. I think Bruce is really good, but when we get to one of our top picks for 81, I mean, I would choose that any day over anything Dickinson. But Bruce was in this band before Maiden. That's how he got picked up. They all played shows together. I don't think Bruce was the original singer of Samson on their 1979 album. I think he joined on the second album, Head On, which has like an executioner on the cover of it. And then his last album was Shock Tactics, so 1981's Shock Tactics. And it's a really solid record. I listened to all of it today, and I really like it. And honestly, my favorite track is called Communion. It's one of the slower tunes. It reminds me, it's kind of got that Children vibe to it in the way that Bruce sings on it. It's just, his voice is unbelievable. It's a killer track, so I really recommend it. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of other tracks in there, like Riding with the Angels, Earth Mother, Go to Hell. Grime Crime's really good too. So it's a good record musically, but for Bruce singing on it, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I listened to it today too, and it was great. And why don't we do this? I have another one that I'm going to talk about that was just outside. And then Doug, you got an extra one that you can talk about, Doug?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to just name one extra one. And I agree with you. Doug, you ever listen to the Samson record?
I'm not gonna lie, no, I haven't.
Yeah, it was my first time today. Really liked it.
All right, it's going on the list.
So, Children of the Damned, Doug, you'll like Communion. It has that feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and musically, what would you compare them to, or are they kind of in their own realm, being so early?
No, I mean they're the new wave of British heavy metal, man. I mean it's pretty relative. I don't hear a lot of the Twin Attack going on, but it is it's solid new wave. I mean, not doing much different from what Maiden was doing.
Yeah, especially in 81. I mean, it's a lot different than 84 Maiden, you know what I mean? But for 81, I'd say it's pretty similar, you know?
Vocally, one thing to note too, I noticed that Bruce at least his singing on, I think this is his second record with them.
It is, yeah.
Okay, it is. So on the first record, his vocals were a little higher. I think he was trying to emulate the first dude. He really found himself by Shock Tactics, and he sounded a lot like himself when he was on the Fear of the Dark record. Those deeper vocals, a little more like Brian Johnson, AC/DC style, and his voice is a little more of that and a little less of the clean Maiden vocals that we ended up getting from him.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely going to check it out now.
Doug, what's your bonus one? Fuck it.
So there was two just honorable mentions. Molly Hatchet. They're another one that I never really listened to, but I listened to like 3 or 4 songs off. I don't even know what album came out in '81 from them. But I actually enjoyed the Molly Hatchet and the Girls' School album.
Agreed.
Both of those I just kind of like threw on. I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. Maybe I'll fall in love with it. Maybe I'll hate it. But yeah, both of those I think I'll end up throwing on the playlist too, just to kind of familiarize myself with them.
Yeah, I didn't get around to the Hatchet, but I did listen to like the first half of Girls' School today, and yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Reminds me of a very female Motorhead, and you wonder why they were such good friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, not every song has that vibe, but the opening song on the record, I wish I could remember what it was, definitely has that Motorhead feel.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be on my list too. And then Demon. I don't like the whole album, but I really like Night of the Demon. If you guys want just a good one of those songs that kind of has an eerie vibe to it, and it's got good lyrics, it's got a good opening riff. That one I would check out, just that song.
Yeah, I looked at that album cover. It was actually on my list. I just didn't have enough time. There was like 4 or 5 albums I didn't get to listen to. That was one of them.
Yeah, '81 was a busy year.
Yeah. And for me, my like, it's more of a nostalgia pick, and I do like most of the album, but it's when they started their descent towards pop in a way with a couple of songs on it. But it's Def Leppard, High and Dry. I really like this album. I think it's their pinnacle. I think it's the best album they ever wrote. They still had a little metal influence in them. And again, Bringing On the Heartbreak is the song that started pushing them towards mainstream, and then they kind of developed that formula for the next couple of records that I don't like as much. Even though I like Pyromania, but the other one that Kevin loves that I hate. That one.
Yeah, they found that winning formula, and they just ran with it.
And had tons and tons of threesomes because of that formula.
Oh yeah. I ain't doing any of their sexual activity
Mothers,
or whatever happened because of their
daughters, mothers, daughters, grandmothers.
Same time. Yeah. Anyway, down to the top 2. Kevin? Why don't you hit it off?
Oh, all right. Yeah.
You know
all right. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
my favorite Ozzy
killer record. Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Why?
Yes, sir. I just like the songs on it, man. I just think overall, I just love the feel of the album too. Like in the song "Diary of a Madman," man, I just love like the whole choir part and stuff, which is so epic. And I'm just trying to get a song listing up here because I confuse songs off their first 2 albums all the time because I think they're both awesome. Don't get me wrong, Blizzard's like 1B. You know what I mean? This 1A, Blizzard's 1B.
I like the creepiness of Little Dolls, and I really, really enjoy Sato, S-A-T-O.
Yes.
That song is
today. It came up on random, yep.
Killer. It's just one of the tracks on the record nobody pays attention to, so I'm just trying to point some of those out because it's a phenomenal track.
You know what?
You can't kill rock and roll. Fuck, man.
Yeah, Over the Mountain, Flying High Again. I think you might be right, Marco. I think this might actually be my favorite Ozzy album. I mean, like you said, Blizzard's a close second, if not equal, but dude, this one's just such a banger. I mean, it's no Crypts of Eternity, but but yeah, this is a fucking banger for sure. Just the vibe, the cover, everything about it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the track listing for Blizzard, and I do think I like that album a little bit more. You know, like, I can live without listening to Goodbye to Romance. I think it's a good song, don't get me wrong, but I can listen, you know, No Bone Movies is another one I can really live without.
Yeah,
and but Revelation Mother Earth is just such a great song. I know we all love that song. But yeah, anyway, go back to Diary. Yeah, it's just always been my favorite. I don't know why. Just always been. I think from front to back, it's a better record overall.
I would dare to say this, but I would pick Black Sabbath's album over this.
Oh, I would too. I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the reason this has to get the number 2 and then, I guess it's our personal thing, so we could have put it where it was. Is I just think it's the success of the album and how big it was, and
Randy's last
insane.
record.
I mean, like, yeah, Sabbath couldn't fucking sell anything. I mean, they were doing okay with Dio, but they weren't doing nothing like all what they did with Ozzy or what Ozzy was doing by himself. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Ozzy was bigger than Sabbath probably ever was, as far as like, shows and crowds and stuff. I think Ozzy at this time was just so fucking big, dude. He was selling out Monsters of Rock and shit, playing in front of like 100,000 people. It's fucking crazy, dude. Him and Motley Crue up there banging out,
Yeah, it's crazy,
but anyway,
man.
Yeah.
Great album cover, too. Great album cover. Yeah, it's just such an awesome horror-themed... And I love that he followed through that, too, Bark of the Moon and everything. So even the first record, the first cover, too, I just loved the theme. I loved Ozzy Osbourne's his art, his logo was awesome. Whoever designed that, that's killer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything about it, I think, is just awesome. I think I have an original. Marco, do you have that one on vinyl? Do you have the Aussies on vinyl?
Yeah, I have the first two. And I want to get No Rest for the Wicked and Ultimate Sin, but those are on my list to eventually get. But yeah, I have the first two.
Nice.
I found them at like a flea market, like for real cheap. The vinyls were in good shape, but the covers are kind of shit. But you can still see the picture and stuff. But they have the rings and shit. I think I got them for like $5 each or something like that.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah. Maybe
just cool.
$8. I don't know.
Just cool to have,
Yeah, man. Awesome. And let's get into the number one album that we all decided. And you hear footsteps behind you guys? Yeah, Killers, Iron Maiden. Number one. One of my favorite bands, if not my favorite band overall through life. I mean, they were my favorite band when I was a little kid, and you go through phases up and down, but it always comes back to Iron Maiden. I put on Iron Maiden probably at least an album, I'd say once a month. This band is just probably it's been with me the longest. Metallica and them are probably the two oldest bands I listen to. Metallica I listen to once in a while, but Maiden all the time. And man, there's not I could say about this album. I mean, a couple of my favorite songs from them are on it, like "Murder in the Rue Morgue." I'm not going to say every song because I want you guys to talk about it too. And so that's all I'll say. "Murder in the Rue Morgue" is one of my favorite fucking songs Maiden never did that they don't play live, and I want to slap their bitch asses because of it.
Yeah, why don't they?
The Ides of March. I love this instrumental track.
Yeah, and Kevin, I think you were at the show, right? When they played Ozfest and they opened up with the Ides of March right into Wrathchild?
Yeah, that was
Ozfest.
Ozfest, yeah. We were there for that one, Kev.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that was the first time I saw Maiden.
Me too. And it was a great way to see him with that opening, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you guys got spoiled.
Oh man, did we ever? And I bought I remember buying the DVD that had come out at the time too. That they were supposed to continue doing it. It was like just the first half of their career, so it was really the whole Di'Anno era. And I think that's really what drew me into them, watching all of their live shows, like Live at the Hammersmith and stuff like that, the early days. And I mean, seeing them kick in with Wrathchild and stuff, I was sold on that era. So watching that prior to going to see them, I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, and it does go to 83 though.
It does, yeah.
So it does get into it goes to Peace of Mind, till Peace of Mind, yeah.
So Killers was the first with Adrian Smith, right? And then the last with Paul Di'Anno.
Correct.
So it's kind of I don't know. Great track listen though. Like you said, they're not all gold, but the ones that are fucking shimmer for sure.
I personally like every song on the album. Now, is it my favorite album? No, but it'd probably be my top 5 Iron Maiden records. But dude, their catalog, especially through like 88, is pristine.
Mm-hmm.
I think every album is got its own unique sound. They're all a little bit different. You know, you get like that punk rock vibe on the first two with Di'Anno. It's his vocals. And I don't give a fuck about Steve Harris. Pisses me off. To say he's not influenced by punk is bullshit. Bullshit. Because I hear a lot of punk elements in this shit. And he's like, we wrote it. Why? Because you heard a punk song and that's where you got the idea for the riff. Yeah, is it a little more proggy at times? Sure. But there's definitely punk inspiration. I'm sick of him downing punk. Fuck Steve Harris for that.
Let's go fight him.
I don't want to fight him. I mean, he's an old bloke now, and I don't understand a word he says except fuck punk. But yeah, I mean, go ahead, Doug. Go ahead.
I just want to mention Defiance does a great cover of Killers on what is that, Kev? Is that Void Terra Firma?
I think it is, yeah, Void Terra Firma.
Or Far Beyond. One of those.
No, it is. I think it's Void Terra Firma.
Okay. Yeah, but they do a great cover of that. I know a ton of bands have done, covers of the early Di'Anno shit, but that's the one that always kind of resonates with me. Now, Purgatory, you think that's where John Schaefer got the got his inspiration for his first band?
Certainly. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's like being such a fucking... Between Kiss and Iron Maiden, that was like, a couple of his main influences.
Yeah, I mean, look at the album Art Direction, his version of Eddie. I mean, clear as day is just another version of Eddie. I don't know, Emotep or I don't know what the hell, I forget what they call Iced Earth's version.
I think you got it right. I think it's that, isn't it? Emotep? Yeah, I think it is.
I didn't know he had a name.
I think so. No, let me. Why don't you guys keep talking? I'll try to look that up.
Yeah, Twilight Zone's Killer too. It's another great track. Artwork too on all the singles is just awesome.
Oh, it's Set Abomine. That's what
okay. Set Abomine.
Yeah. I know I've heard it before, but yeah, man. The song too I really like. Is it Prodigal Son?
Yes, Prodigal Son.
That I don't know. Did you say that? I'm sorry. I was looking shit up.
No.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
No repeats. But yeah, I love that song, man. Like I said, man, awesome fucking record, dude. Like unbelievable. I still listen to this shit all the time, and I know Kevin. He hates Bruce Dickinson. Hates him. Wants to kill him. And always talking shit about Bruce, as he was called in Samson, by the way. What a Bruce fucking name, Bruce. Yeah,
Brucey.
Bruce. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this might be my number one Iron Maiden record.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
I really like Number of the Beast musically, and I mean, yeah, dude, Dickinson crushes it on that. But I've always wondered what it would have sounded like with Di'Anno behind vocals doing most of those tracks. And the other thing too is, I mean, I feel like most of those Maiden records after, even Peace of Mind, there's always one or two tracks that, like, why did you decide to put this on, like, fucking To Tame the Land? Oh God.
You see, I love that No. That's the Quest for Fire.
Oh, Quest for Fire. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, To Tame a Land is killer. Listen to that song. It's
that's what it is. Man. Quest for Fire.
I don't see
nuts.
I love Quest for Fire.
Do you really?
I do too, Doug. But
I love that song.
Though, with the whole like theme and just the way it sounds, I could see why people don't like that song. I could see that. I like it though, personally.
Sounds like a bird being shot at the beginning when he goes in the high vocal.
And it's completely historically inaccurate, but we don't care. It's Bruce can talk about whatever he wants.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess that wraps up that portion. Is there anything else you guys got on the brain here while we're here?
Well, since Ozzy was brought up, I guess he was just inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up, but I didn't know if it was worthy. But yeah, it's a little fun note, isn't it?
Because I read the article. I'm like, Is it just because he had like I think he had like one of his songs was like a theme song for like WWE or Raw, whatever it was. But I guess like Sharon's hosted. He's been a guest host a bunch of times. So I'm like, all right, well, why not?
Yeah,
Really?
so just to
Okay.
explain, I know a little bit about this as far as just they always do a celebrity, and every year they induct a celebrity. And so even if you had a cup of coffee there, but you made sort of an impact, and I forget what he did exactly, but he did something at one of the WrestleManias, I believe, where he was like a manager or some shit. So, it makes him Hall of Fame worthy, which
Okay.
makes no sense to me, but, pretty soon Alice Cooper, because he was there with Jake the Snake, like around the time when he released Constrictor or whatever. So he was with Jake the Snake. Great marketing, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So, I think he'll be next to go in.
Spoiler alert, kids. Wrestling is fake.
I
didn't.
don't say that. It's predetermined, but you'll go
You
do it
didn't.
and have 1,000 surgeries like they do and tear up your back and knees and all that shit. Go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah. But it's all played out. Like they already have it preset. It's like watching a goddamn dance recital. They already know what they're doing.
To an extent, yeah. They call it. I watched a lot of wrestling back in the day, but they call it in the ring.
Somebody
It's
just
predetermined.
Sasquatch said it's real to me. Damn it.
No, I'm not saying it's real like that, but it's definitely like pain wise.
No, one of our listeners in the chat said it's real to me.
Yeah.
Damn it. I love it. Keep it coming. You can tell me that you hate me too. I don't care. That's fine. Yeah, man. I mean, I love wrestling, but once you realize that it's choreographed and stuff, I'm like, shit. That doesn't mean that they don't. They're still flying off ropes. I mean, the board, the plywood or whatever they use, it's not comfortable. They're not landing on mattresses.
No.
So I get it. I get the technicality behind it. But when I found out, I'm like, oh shit, really? They're just. I mean, this is just dramatized. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's just entertainment, man. If you choose not to watch it, like I watch it, like I'll watch the Royal Rumble, and usually I'll watch WrestleMania, but now WrestleMania is like 7 hours long, so I have no fucking interest. When it was like 3 or 4 hours, I'd watch it. But dude, it's literally a 7-hour show now. It's fucking insane.
Wow.
Who the fuck wants to watch anything for 7 hours? I fucking tried watching that Justice League movie. That's 4 hours fucking long. It took me 6 tries because I kept falling asleep.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie, just so fucking long, man.
Why wouldn't they have broken that into like quarters or something, or like even like two-hour halves?
So no. If you watch it though, you can pause it at this moments because it has like 6 chapters. So it'll say chapter 1, it's like a half hour. Chapter 2 is a half hour. Chapter 3 is a half hour or so. You know what I mean? So you can actually stop it at points because it shifts the story to like different. Like it basically creates the background for every character. I don't want to like talk too much about it because I don't want to do spoilers if people want to watch it. It's actually not a bad movie. I just think it's fucking just a little too long. I thought it was pretty good. And I got to watch Slacks apparently. Slacks.
Yeah. I was waiting to be disappointed within 5 minutes, like I have been with a couple other movies on Shudder, and I watched the whole thing. Which for me, I'm like, I'm into it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe I'll put it on my watch tonight because I do have that stuff. So maybe I can watch it tonight. I'm over the whole King Kong thing too. I watched that as well. And trying to watch the new movies. But you know what's coming out that's going to be fucking cool, and this should harken back to your childhood. It comes out on the 16th. Mortal Kombat with fatalities in it.
A movie?
Yeah, but it's going to have it's not going to be like the ones they did in the 90s. It's going to have like blood and guts and fatalities and shit, death.
Okay.
I think it's going to be badass. I don't know if you guys missed that because the 5-year age gap, but
that's
Mortal
right.
Kombat 2 came out. I was all over the arcade playing that shit, so it has a lot of meaning to me.
Loved Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
What's that?
Loved Mortal Kombat. The other movie coming out too that's going to be more on the side of horror is Doctor Strange. I think it's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse or something like that, and it's going to, which is also going to have Scarlet Witch in it. It's going to be directed by Sam Raimi.
That's cool. So it's going to have one of the Olsen twins' sisters in it.
Oh, God, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah. And it's funny, speaking of that, though, you ever see like there's like a meme on it's an old one now, but like if these movies came out in the '90s, who would play him? Can you guess who Doctor Strange would have been Doctor Strange if it was a '90s movie?
I don't know. I mean, I always pictured.
I want to hear what you say now.
I just drew a blank.
Are you blanking?
Yeah, I blanked.
Anyway, it's Keanu Reeves, but it makes a lot of sense.
Oh no, I'm glad. I'm so glad he didn't.
No, but if these movies came out in the '90s, it would have been all these guys fucking playing these dudes, and I think Keanu would have been actually good for it. But if you ever get a chance, check out that meme. It's got like Brad Pitt playing somebody and all these people. It's fucking hilarious. Like Halle Berry would have been shit, I forget now.
Sasquatch said Kevin Spacey would have probably played Doctor Strange.
Kevin Spacey.
I gotta tell you though, honestly, Keanu Reeves. I mean, he crushed John Wick, but I think that role was meant for him. Other than that, can we honestly? I mean, he's a terrible actor. Let's just put it out there. We love you, Keanu. You do great things for the general public.
Oh yeah.
But he can't act. He would have been a terrible Doctor Strange. There would have been no emotion,
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I mean, for Keanu, my short list is basically Bill and Ted and John Wick. So
yeah,
I'm not really
opposite
a
ends.
Matrix fan or anything.
What about River's Edge?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that since like 1993 or whenever it came out.
Dude, the soundtrack alone, dude. Slayer, Hallows Eve, fucking. It's a good one. Got Dennis Hopper, Crispin Glover, whatever the fuck his name is.
Crispin Glover.
That's a good one. Have you ever seen that one, Kev?
I don't think I have.
Isn't that the one that had River Phoenix or something too before he died? Or is it just because of Rivers is in the title? That's what I'm thinking of.
I think I think River Phoenix. Are you thinking of Stand By Me?
No. He did a movie as he was dying, like it was not complete, but he was still in it before he died, because he died when he was like 20 years old or something.
Yeah, he was young.
River Phoenix. We're all over the place right now. Let's see.
You guys know who his brother is?
Yeah, it's Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin. They're great family of actors.
Oh, intense! Like Joaquin is just super intense with his his performance in Joker just blew me away.
Yeah, he's great. He's a good actor, and I loved him too. You know where Joaquin was great too? Was Gladiator. He was killer.
Oh,
yeah,
the evil emperor. Yeah. And he was a fucking cocksucker in that. Even though that story's completely false, it's got no historical relevancy, but
he was
still cool.
He was really good in Signs too. That's a classic too, with Mel Gibson.
I've not seen Signs, man.
You haven't seen Signs, Marco?
No, I never seen Signs.
It's one of those movies that like it was kind of like realistic in the sense the way they reacted. Obviously it's like an alien movie, but it's very realistic. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, hey, let's go fight. It's just kind of like,
Doug,
I don't know. You'd have to see it. Yes.
Sasquatch has a recommendation for you. I heard my own private Idaho is a gateway to homosexuality.
Wait, what? Is that a movie?
It is, yeah. It's a River Phoenix movie. I remember it. I think I seen it when I was
younger. Check it out.
Okay.
Sasquatch recommends.
It might explain some things. Yeah, might explain some things.
He gives it two
intricacies.
2 penises up.
All right, boys.
Three fingers? Wouldn't that be 3 fingers up or 3 thumbs up?
Three
thumbs up.
3 thumbs up. Well, maybe I don't know.
And there's no metal news tonight. I mean, what else are we going to talk about? So,
shit going on, man.
No, for everybody out there that wants to see a show, I know these guys enjoy going to shows. I interviewed somebody from one of the outdoor arenas that we have locally in New Hampshire, and they're hurting, man. They're doing drive-in stuff, but it's just not the same. And they don't think they're going to see anything really open this year. They're thinking 2022. So don't really get your hopes up. Obviously we want to see stuff, open, like Florida and Texas seem to be smart
In
ones
Cali now.
to make money. We can't continue to do what we're doing. But yeah, it's unfortunate because I know people have their hopes up to see stuff, and I don't know if it's gonna happen. You know.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah, I don't have my hopes up.
Sasquatch says, "Oh shit, New Hampshire, we're neighbors."
Can you see me now?
Yeah, can you?
Is it Nick or whatever his name is, Nate from across the street?
Probably is my neighbor fucking with me. That would make sense. I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's we'll see. I miss, being able to go to local shows, even at Jewel,
Yeah.
Just see those obscure bands. Seeing those obscure
Yeah,
bands, I was thinking about it. I'm itching for it, especially before November. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to go to a show. Maybe, probably not.
Yeah,
Maybe next year.
I was texting with Doug. I mean, like Maryland Death Fest lineup for next year. They've missed 2 years now because of this pandemic, and for next year the lineup is just completely stacked. And I'm going. I don't give a shit. After this shit year we've had, or a year and change now, it's time to do something. So I'm gonna go 4 days, balls up, bring as much money as I can, buy vinyl, do whatever I can, because I haven't done anything. And fucking by that point it'll be almost 2 years.
Yeah,
or it'll be 2 years. It'll be over 2 years. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, man, I can't wait. I hope that shit happens. If that gets canceled, life is over, dude.
Hey, you know what? How about this really quick before we jump off? Any new singles that are out? I know I can tell you right now. For me, one of my favorite bands, The Absence, great melodic death metal band. They just dropped a single. So for anybody out there that enjoys some good death metal, they got a track they dropped called. The whole album is going to be called Coffinized, and they dropped a track called Choirs of Sickness.
I gotta check that out. I haven't listened to it yet. Doug, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, same with me. I remember you mentioned it, and I meant to check it out, but that's on the list too. But that now, speaking of The Absence, they got. Have you checked out Inhuman Condition yet, Kev?
I have not. And is it because they had to change their name?
Yeah. My guess is Cam Lee, who was the original dude in Massacre, probably had a falling out like he does with everybody, including Chuck Schuldiner. He's the original singer of Death and all that stuff. And anyway, yeah. So I'm guessing something to do with him, but I don't want to speculate too much. But if I had to guess, that's it. So they dropped out, got Terry Butler, who was an original member of Massacre as well, and formed Inhuman Condition, which is one of the songs off their beautiful record From Beyond.
That's true. Yeah, so I'm excited to hear. I think there's maybe one song out that I've heard.
Same logo too.
Yeah. The font's the exact same. And I just want to shout out one album, and you can go back. I just want to shout it out. Is Enforced Kill Grid. Check it out. You like fucking thrash, power trip moments, shit like that. Fucking that album is insanely good.
I concur.
And another one that just dropped, if you are a fan of moving pictures and Rush, it's Gangstron. Their record is Dream Weapon. It just dropped recently. Fucking killer, in my opinion. I don't like any of their other shit. It's a little too experimental for me. A little too Kevin Spacey for me. Yeah, so I just love what they're doing. I think this is a new direction for them. But if you're a fan of Rush, check out Gangstron, their new record.
Yeah, I've seen the album covers and shit, and I'm like, like, I don't know about all this, but I'll give it a shot, man. I'll check it out. So anyway, Kevin, roll us out.
This is Kev.
Hey, yeah, thanks. Marco.
Doug. I'm off to watch My Own Private Idaho.
Don't do it, Doug. Don't do
Enjoy it.